miles per hour. Sunny Sunday and quite warm around 69. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's football season, and that boot store reminds you to roll tide. Go Noles, roar Eagles, sick 'em dogs, and go Gators. Before the cold weather hits, shop that boot store for all your winter western wear and Carhartt work clothes to keep you warm on the job. That boot store, where God is good all the time. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burr Kia, 15th Street, Panama City, that boot store.
It's the Season of New Traditions sales event going on now at Bill Burr Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months of the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 2025 Kia Sportage. Take your next holiday adventure in a brand new Kia from Bill Burr Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Burr Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or new 2025 Kia Sportage with $1,748 per month per $1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantity is limited. Not to be combined with other finance offers and not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is the Bill Burr Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 1/2/25.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX-LG, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
And welcome into a Friday edition of the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We are still your home for the Auburn Tigers, both basketball and football. Make sure you stay tuned to our radio dial here as well as the ESPN app for all of the updates and the scheduling and everything else. We've got Auburn taking on Texas A&M tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Kind of a big day in college football, a lot of stuff to go through. I'm AG along with Chef Ross, who's fabulous enough to join us, as well as BC on the 1s and 2s.
All right.
And phenomenal Friday. It's a little cold outside for us, right? This time of year, it's a little chilly. Wearing long sleeves and jeans, it feels a little odd.
I almost wore pants today.
I did wear.
Still got the shorts on,
right?
Yeah. Put on some jeans, and I was like, I think I'm past this. When's spring coming?
I did think about making chili this weekend, though.
We made chili last week. I don't think there's ever a bad time for chili, is there?
Yeah, chili's always been a cold weather thing for me. So when the temperature drops, it's get the big old pot and have chili for the next 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you're going to go have some chili at the Wendy's on Joan Avenue in Thomas, you better go early in the day.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Is it good then? Or is it just they run through it?
On a cold day, they run through that chili pretty quickly.
Wow. Huh? Things you don't know.
Fun fact, a couple of years ago, there was a chili cook-off at one of the establishments I hang out at, and one of the guys went and filled his crock pot with Wendy's chili, and with the blind taste testing, the Wendy's chili actually won.
Oh, wow. I mean, it had to make them feel good. I mean, that dude just cheated his you-know-what off.
Yeah, he won less money than it cost him to fill that crock pot of chili.
Hey, but he got the pride, I guess, huh, for himself.
Nice.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, kind of a slow news day, but also kind of a decent news day here in the sports world. Daniel Jones gets cut after making a request to the Giants to part ways, so they kind of obliged him.
Apparently he doesn't want to play safety.
Right. So the Giants are going to eat $22 million. He's still owed $12 million if a team were to sign him the rest of the season. He finishes his Giants career with a 22-44-1 record, throwing for 70 touchdowns and 47 interceptions. He signed a 4-year, $160 million contract in 2023. And where do you all think Daniel Jones goes from here? What's the best fit for him, or maybe the best kind of a backup situation at a steep $12 million for Daniel Jones?
Well, the new team's not going to pay anything. They might get a couple $100,000 in, just like another Russell Wilson deal. But I don't think Daniel Jones leaves the building. I really think he is the next Jets quarterback. Staying in New York, the whole thing's blowing up. Aaron's gone. They're going to need a bridge between Aaron and the new guy. So I think you get Daniel Jones on the very cheap. He doesn't have to pack anything up. He doesn't have to leave the building. He knows how to get to the stadium. He knows all the restaurants around there. And I think it's going to work.
I mean, if there's a team more in need of a quarterback right now than the Jets for next season, I don't really see it outside of the Jets, right? So I can see where that makes sense, but I'm also looking at it like, okay, well, the Jets are in that 1 to 2 to 3 pick range, right? So, it's the Giants, the Jets, and the Cowboys.
Raiders.
And the Raiders are in there, so they're in that 1 to 4 range. Shedeur Sanders is sitting out there. What do the Jets need? They need a coach, right? They go and they draft Shedeur Sanders. They bring Deion Sanders in to be his coach. That fits. It also works in Dallas, right? I mean, that's a situation. The thing is does Deion Sanders look at an opportunity like Dallas, like everybody else would, where Jerry Jones is still the big guy, where Deion can't shine his light on everybody else there? I mean, there's a big shadow there is what I guess I'm trying to say.
My personal take, too, is I think Deion feels it's time to let Shedeur shine for himself. As long as Deion's going to be coaching Shedeur can't spread his wings and fly and make a name for himself.
Yeah.
He's been under his dad for his entire life, so I think it's time that Deion stays in Boulder for at least one more year, and let's see what Shedeur can do on his own.
Okay. If I'm an NFL team and I see Daniel Jones is out there, I'm looking at a team like the LA Chargers, right, with Jim Harbaugh, where it's Justin Herbert or nothing.
Yeah.
And with Justin Herbert's propensity to get out of the pocket and run, I feel like that maybe that's kind of the situation, where they could use, like a solid backup that maybe could get them through until they reach the playoffs. The Jets are so far out of it, I doubt they spend that kind of money, especially after going and getting Devontae Adams this year. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. You look back on the whole Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones scenario fiasco, if you're a Giants fan, and you go, we picked this guy over Saquon Barkley, who's doing, he's having a career year. Obviously, different offensive line situation, different offense situation, but you see that, Saquon is far from washed, right? Like, a lot of people were like, oh, well, he didn't have that great a year, blah, blah, blah. Well, here we are, and he's doing his thing in Philly. So, but you look at that situation and you go, how in the world could any GM look at those two and say, yeah, I'm going to take Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley at any dollar amount?
Yeah, I don't know. And this last quarterback class hasn't proven to be that weak. I mean, yes, we drafted way too many in the first round, but they're all playing, and they're all holding their head above water. Even Caleb Williams should have beat Green Bay on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, there's two that aren't playing, right? We got McCarthy in Minnesota,
who's injured,
who is probably going to be, Sam Darnold's probably going to be a free agent at the end of this year with McCarthy, right there to take the reins in Minnesota. You've got Michael Penix, who I think saw the field last week or 2 weeks ago for the first time. So still a little bit going on there with Kirk Cousins. So I think it is a good draft class. We talked on Wednesday. You have Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, kind of that 1-2, 1-2 combo for Rookie of the Year right now, Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Who are you taking right now? If you're an NFL GM and you know what you know now, who are you taking? Are you taking Jaden Daniels or are you taking Bo Nix?
Man, that's tough because I like the production Bo Nix. I like the experience Bo Nix has. But playing the quarterback, the more games you play, the more hits you take. The more chance you have of getting an injury. Mm-hmm. So Jaden Daniels is injury prone as well. So I guess I would talk myself into Bo Nix.
Bo Nix over Jaden Daniels. The age doesn't scare you of Bo Nix?
Not really, because they're both injury prone. So
yeah, okay, fair enough. I do think the rib situation with Jaden Daniels is kind of hampered in the last few weeks. I know he started, and I don't think he's missed a game, but I feel like it's definitely you can definitely tell it's there still and isn't lingering. So
with the age, it gives me a little bit more maturity as well.
Yeah,
I'm weighing out every
I think
option.
your ceiling is higher with Jaden than it is with Bo Nix, but I think your floor with Bo Nix is a much better than what you get with Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels is awesome. So when we've seen him healthy, he's cooked. I mean, so we got to give that kid credit as well. It's going to be fun to see those two teams going down the stretch. Both are vying for playoff spots in their respective conferences. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe if one of them gets it done and the other doesn't, maybe that gives them the edge over the other. So
who would have thought that in Thanksgiving week we're talking about Denver and Washington vying for playoff spots?
The Commanders I could probably see more so than Denver just because of how bad Denver was. And then everyone watching Bo Nix at Auburn for years here and, take his Oregon year out. And I think that was, I think for most people, you take that year and you go, okay, well, that's a throwaway year. I don't think that year matters when you look at the overall body of work. But it feels like that 1 year was actually the full body of work, and what he had going on at Auburn was
a train wreck.
Yeah, right. Well, it was kind of like, okay, let's throw that out because that's not what we're seeing at all. So it should be interesting moving down. Staying in the NFL, last night we had the Blizzard Bowl. Man, what a snowstorm. I'm listening to our very own Dan Patrick show right here, and DP had on a Pittsburgh Gazette writer, and he's like, oh, the weather will be out of Cleveland before kickoff, so it shouldn't be that bad. And you tune in, and all of a sudden it's just big snowflakes, and then all of a sudden they start sticking, and then all of a sudden you look, and they're having to superimpose all the yardage markers and lines on the field just so you could see what was going on. So imagine us having to see that, and when they're on the field and having to play in it. It was hard enough for us to try to, keep up and follow, and to see them doing what they're doing out there in that snow was pretty awesome.
And Jameis still throwing the ball around the yard. Even though it's wet and nasty and impossible to hang on to.
Yeah. Yeah, he made some
throws.
He made some very, very nice throws.
Love playing football in the snow.
Yeah?
I know people down here don't get that chance. But, in Georgia, every few years we get a snowstorm. Mm-hmm. That was off the hook to play football in the snow. I'm sure they loved it.
Yeah. You can hit harder. It doesn't hurt at all.
It stings a lot. Actually, it hurts worse because you're so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once your body goes numb, which I played in the snow, you probably played in like little dustings, but yeah. Once you go numb, your body doesn't hurt anymore. It's a soft landing and the big snowflakes, the ground's a lot softer, so you don't have the frozen ground.
Some nice powder, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a fun game last night, right? Everybody thought it was going to be boring, low scoring, kind of, trudging through, no offense being able to do anything. But I feel like the offense got much, much better as the weather got worse. So I don't know if that was just the defense wasn't able to react in time or if they were just literally finding their footing in the snow. But Cleveland ends up coming out on top 24-19, led by Nick Chubb's 2 touchdowns. Of course, he has that resurgence when he's on my bench in fantasy, just because he hasn't done anything the last 3 weeks. But, yeah, fun game. I think everybody loves a good snow game. Seeing this kind of resurgence from Jameis Winston, I know their record isn't reflective of how he's played, because he has played really, really well, and he's played well in division. I mean, that's 2 wins. 2 of the 3 wins for Cleveland are Jameis, and they're both against the Ravens and the Steelers, respectively. So
seems like same thing as last year. Stefanski opens up the offense once Deshaun Watson gets injured for the year. He did it for all the backups last year that played for Cleveland. They always seem to have a better offensive game when Deshaun's not in the game. And it seems like Stefanski's hamstring Deshaun when he's in the game.
Yeah. It's weird for me to watch the game last night, seeing Mike Tomlin be really, really aggressive with his defense the way they've been playing. Aggressively offensively, going forward on 4th and 2s and 4th and 1s and close to the 50. So I thought that was a little odd, thinking, maybe punt it, get him down deep and let your defense, put in the work. So I felt like it was a weird game plan from Mike Tomlin. I mean, who am I to question the guy? The guy's a brilliant head coach. He's been doing it for a long, long time. And but it was just, for me, it was odd watching it going, okay, well, you keep bringing Justin Fields in, and it worked one time, I think, out of the 5 or 6 that they brought him in. But just a weird, odd game to see Jameis kind of running for touchdowns and Russell Wilson, bringing him all the way back only to just give it right back. So it was really fun game. I love snow games, like I said before. I would love to be able to see Pittsburgh lose a little bit more. But we did get some breaking news. Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers is out this week. He was just downgraded to out. So if you have him on your lineup like I do, make sure you have a backup or go get you one. But changes things for San Francisco in that game, I think, right? Because who's their backup? Does it say?
It did. Braden Allen.
Braden Allen is their backup. Okay, so they get George Kittle back probably. Debo's still a little banged up. Juwan Jennings definitely changes things from him.
Puts more pressure on CMC.
From a fantasy perspective, definitely puts more pressure on CMC. So, yeah, it's so Brock Purdy out for this weekend. Again, that hurt shoulder, which kind of popped up after the loss to the Seahawks. Let's see. Mike Evans returning versus the Giants on Sunday. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver. He now sits at 335 yards, needing 665 to eclipse 1,000 in each of his 11 seasons in the league. I mean, what a stat. Think about that.
Yeah, that's consistency.
I mean, over 1,000 yards in every season that he's played football.
And only 2 of those have been with high-quality quarterbacks.
Well, Brady.
Yeah, the Brady, too.
Brady and now Mayfield, yeah.
I mean, Mayfield he's a serviceable quarterback, but he's no one to write home about.
Well, I think people give Baker a hard time unjustly. Baker's had a hell of a season. Their defense hasn't helped them very much, and then injuries have played a huge role. I mean, when Cade Otton is your leading receiver the last 3 weeks, it speaks volumes to the fact that you just lost Godwin and Mike Evans. So, but again, he sits at 12,015 yards for his career on 788 receptions with 100 touchdowns. I mean, he's got to be first ballot Hall of Famer at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Evans?
Yeah, I would. He's been Mr. Consistent for a very long time. Longevity is the key in the Hall of Fame. I don't think his numbers like completely stack up to Jerry Rice or Randy Moss, but in this era, I'd say he's one of the best.
I'd say he's probably the best in the last 10 years since, Randy Moss. I mean, as far as career-wise, obviously you've got Justin Jefferson, who's going to be out there doing his thing for quite some time, Jamar Chase, guys like that. But, for somebody like Mike Evans to be at one team doing the same thing, it speaks to his longevity, his health. It speaks to his performance. And his, like you said, his ability to work with multiple quarterbacks. So, big get back for Tampa Bay right there. I know they
my fantasy team.
Yeah, one of mine as well. They're still not out of it. I believe they're 4-7 at this point right now, but they're still not out of it. They're in that NFC South with the Saints and the Panthers, so definitely a big pickup there for them. But make sure you're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download the app and register 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Again, we are your home for the Auburn Tigers basketball as well as football.
Are we breaking? I was anticipating you going to break.
Oh, no. So, yeah, you kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. That's all good. We'll go ahead and go to break.
Give us a
Pay
call.
some bills. We'll be back. And when we get back, we're going to break down some of the college football playoff scenarios.
Just in time for the holidays and not by popular demand, Coach Hale sings his favorites. And who can forget? To a burn ring of fire, down, 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 that flame red higher. It's that burn, that ring of fire. Oh, plus this one. Coach James Hale, it's a good thing he knows sports because he doesn't sing worth a big show today. Big.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Friday's weather forecast. Clear the remainder of the day with temps near 62 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind out of the north and a temperature of 44. About the same tomorrow, around 64 with sunshine and a wind coming out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. Sunny Sunday and quite warm around 69. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's the Season of New Traditions sales event going on now at Bill Bird Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months of the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 2025 Kia Sportage. Take your next holiday adventure in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or new 2025 Kia Sportage with $1,748 per month per $1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantity is limited, not to be combined with other finance offers and not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 1/2/25.
Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. So like we told you before, this tomorrow on Saturday, you've got Texas A&M at Auburn. Big game for Texas A&M. Coverage starts at 2:30. Your kickoff is at 3:30. And then on Sunday, make sure you stay tuned for some NFL action. You have at 11 a.m. coverage starts for the Lions at Colts, kickoff at noon. And then that'll be followed by the Broncos at Raiders. And then Sunday Night Football, coverage starts at 6:30, kickoff at 7:20 for the Eagles at the Rams. And then Monday Night Football, again, 6:30, start your coverage. 7:15 is your kickoff for the Ravens at the Chargers. Again, that's on ESPN Northwest Florida. Also check it out on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. So Ross, college football is winding down. It's always a sad time, especially around these parts. You being from the north, me being from a little further south than you. Not quite as big of a deal, as it is down here, but still a big, big deal. So, especially considering now we're at a 12-team playoff. There's so many different scenarios out there that are going to be played out over the next couple weeks as we wind down toward the final playoff selection show. And a lot of interesting things are still boiling, are still happening. And so I made up a list here of the things that we know, a couple of the situations and a couple of the key players, and particularly the ones that are going to be in, like key matchups, moving forward over the next couple weeks. Because there are still a couple teams in different conferences that their conference schedule is done, so they cannot improve and they cannot. They can't get weakened by a loss in conference, but they can based on what other teams in their conference do. So let's start off with Deion Sanders in Colorado. We brought him up with everything everybody is right now with possibly going to the NFL with his son Shadur. But you got Deion in Colorado at 8-2. They're traveling to Kansas, who's 4-6. And then you have Oklahoma State coming in at 3-7 and as their last game of the season. And then you have BYU at Arizona State tomorrow. Arizona State is no slouch. They're 8-2. So major playoff implications here. If Colorado is able to run the table, take out Kansas, take out Oklahoma State, which seems to be an easier path than what BYU has, traveling to Arizona State. I mean, we could see BYU bowing out and Colorado kind of jumping up in there. And here we are in the first 12-team playoff, situation, and Deion's right there in the mix. I mean, would you have imagined this kind of scenario for Deion with the way his season finished up last year?
No, not at all. I was on the hype train a little bit last year, and I looked at the same roster they have this year coming back, and I looked at getting into the Big 12. There should have been a lot more competition. Kansas, even though they've been playing spoiler the last 2 weeks, Kansas on paper is a much better team than what shows. And their Kansas coach comes from my neck of the woods, UW Whitewater, where they were always in the D3 national championship game. So I kind of have a little bit of love for them, and they've just fallen off. Oklahoma State has fallen off. And I just thought Deion was all hype, no coach, and he's got these boys playing. I'm shocked. It's one of those where I'm pleasantly surprised because I like a good story, and Colorado's turned into a good story. Last year they jumped out to that 2-0 start and got and became all talk and no performance. And I thought that would be the same this year. They've been pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot of news outside of Deion coaching the Cowboys next year.
Yeah, and I mean, the only news that we really had out of Deion this year was him picking and choosing who he's going to talk to reporter-wise, which, you can take that for what it's worth. But, you're right. You look at last year, and they start off the season by beating the national championship runner-up from the prior year in Texas Christian, TCU. And then I think they won again against Nebraska maybe at 2-0. And then from there, the wheels fell off. And everybody going into this season said, well, we didn't see a whole lot of roster improvement in terms of transfer portal and in high school recruits. We don't really see them kind of, being where they are now. And, but if you watch this Colorado team, you can definitely see there's a maturation going on with Shadur Sanders, getting the ball out faster, making better decisions. Travis Hunter is healthy the entire season, which is a monster.
There's no way he can play both ways at the pro level.
No, I mean, I don't think any NFL GM looks at Travis Hunter as a defensive back at this point. Not with the way the rules are favoring the offensive side of the football. But you're not paying Travis Hunter millions and millions of dollars to go both ways. It just doesn't happen.
He came out and said earlier this week that he wants to play both ways at the next level. And
he can want to all he wants.
But there's no way he's going to do it.
No, I mean, could it be one of those situations where you're in a fourth quarter situation and you're bringing in a dime package and you bring in a Travis Hunter? Sure, absolutely. But I don't think any GM is going to waste his talent, or utilize his talent on the defensive side of the ball when he's going to be an absolute star, as a wide receiver. So, but going to be interesting. So, again, BYU, tough matchup tomorrow against Arizona State. So make sure we keep an eye on that game. Colorado at Kansas this week, and then at Oklahoma State. Both of those programs, BYU and Colorado, vying for one of those coveted spots there. I don't feel like either one of those teams, if they don't win the Big 12, I don't feel like they get in as an at-large. Not with the bevy of teams ahead of them.
How crazy is it that the teams leading the Power 4 conferences were not in their conference last year? Oregon was not in the Pac-12. Or was in the Pac-12, not in the Big 10.
Oregon, Texas, SMU,
and who was leading the Big 12? BYU.
Right.
So yeah, none of the 4 Power Conference leaders were in the said conference a year ago.
That is wild. This late in the season too. Yeah. All right. We touched on this a little bit on Wednesday. Notre Dame and Army in Yankee Stadium. Huge playoff implications, right? Tyler Bishop called in on Wednesday toward the end of the show, and he talked about how with the BYU situation, as well as the Boise State situation, that there is still a way for Army to get in with a win against Notre Dame, even if Boise is able to go undefeated. So really, really cool situation. Obviously, I think a loss for Notre Dame, I think it knocks them out because it gives them 2 losses to Army in Northern Illinois. So for me, this game is really, really fun, not just because of it's in Yankee Stadium, which we've seen in bowl games before, the Pinstripe Bowl, but Notre Dame and Army. Do you feel like it's going to be a close game? Do you think Army has a shot here, or do you think Notre Dame just takes off and leaves them behind?
Honestly, I think Notre Dame just leaves them in the dust, but my heart's cheering so hard for Army to pull the upset. Not even keep this close, but win it outright. Now, when's the last time we've talked about Army in November, other than the last game of the year, Army-Navy? Mm-hmm. This has been a great story to see these guys, and they're winning like they should win. They had that one drive last like 22 minutes or something like that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and like
the one thing Notre Dame does have going for them is they just played Navy, who also runs a triple option. Mm-hmm. If those games were spread out further, Army has a really good chance because they have a lot better athletes than Navy does, even though it's the same exact systems.
Yeah, I look at it like this, right? So Army's going into Yankee Stadium to take on a Notre Dame team. They're playing with house money. I think all the pressure is on Notre Dame because, again, I think if they lose this game, they're out, at least out of the playoff. Army has a chance to do something that they've never done before and have that undefeated season going into the Navy game and a potential shot at, being in the 12-team playoff. And so it's absolutely wild, and I'm here for it. I would love it if Army was able to make that happen and we're able to get that nod. I think it makes the Army-Navy game even more interesting.
Isn't that after selections, though?
It is. It's on December 14th, I believe. So really, really cool situation, really cool scenario. And I think unless you're a Notre Dame fan, I feel like you're probably pulling for Army, at least in my neck of the woods.
Unless you're a Notre Dame fan, aren't you always cheering against Notre Dame? They could be playing Mosley High School and we'll be cheering for Mosley High School, unless we're Notre Dame fans.
I don't know. I think it's a little different with Freeman there. I like Freeman. I think he's a good coach, and I feel like he's underrated. And again, he's one of those guys that's going into a situation that, not everything is in his control. Like, it's easy to dislike, Charlie Weiss or Willingham or Brian Kelly. Like, it's easy to dislike those guys. But with Freeman there, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit less of a dislike and more of a, I'll take him.
Because I'm conflicted every year. Rudy is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I cannot stand Notre Dame. And it's even back to the Lou Holtz days, and Lou Holtz was a heck of a man, too. Heck of a coach. very likable person, but for some reason, it's that Golden Dome I can't stand.
Well, and Notre Dame also took on a really, really bad image for themselves with the Manti Te'o situation. You still can't convince me he wasn't in on it, but that's neither here nor there. Texas and Texas A&M both at 5-1 in the SEC. Texas has UK coming in. You just dropped a stat that said this is.
So I saw this on Facebook. So I'm not going to say this is a very viable source, but throughout the history of UK football, 110 years or so, this trip Saturday to Austin, Texas, is the furthest west that the University of Kentucky has ever traveled for a football game.
That's a wild stat. We need DP stat of the day music going on there. So Texas does have the Kentucky Wildcats coming in. They also obviously have the Texas A&M matchup the last week of the season, right? So A&M is obviously playing Auburn, which you can listen to right here on ESPN Northwest Florida tomorrow afternoon. So A&M, let's say they get that win. Texas, they get that win. One of these two teams is going to go to the SEC championship game. Maybe both, I think, potentially, depending upon the tiebreakers. I'm not 100% on that because you still have Georgia in there with two losses, Alabama in there with 2 losses. So there's a lot of teams that need some help in there as well. But going to make for a very, very fun Texas A&M game.
Yeah.
Next week if both of these are able to win. And
the first time in forever these two rivals play each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you have Ole Miss in there as well. But you have this UK team that has already gone to Oxford and knocked off the Rebels, right? And Ole Miss. So
should have beat Georgia.
Should have beaten Georgia. So they've got the ability to do it. It's whether or not they're able to get over that hump. Texas, I don't really feel like has really looked Texas-like in the last month or so. So really, really big game coming up, I think, in the SEC. The University of Georgia, their conference schedule is complete. It looks to have the inside track to the SEC championship unless Auburn plays spoiler with Bama. So if Auburn is able to beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl, then you would see potentially a Georgia team slide up into the SEC championship game. In the Big Ten, you have Indiana Hoosier. The Hoosiers, Max's Indiana Hoosiers, they're traveling to Columbus, Ohio to face off with the Ohio State Buckeyes tomorrow. Big matchup, top 5 matchup in the playoffs. So I don't really need to say it, but I will. But huge playoff implications here. Oregon is on a bye this week, but they face Washington.
Oregon's in the championship game already.
At undefeated, yes. Yeah, so it's between.
So then the winner of the Ohio State Indiana game will face Oregon for the Big Ten championship.
Right, because Oregon still has to play Washington next week. Right, so they still have a chance to lose and drop that game and not be undefeated.
No, I think no matter what happens, Oregon is in.
No, but I'm saying, but they still have a chance to lose that, which could definitely change things playoff-wise in terms of seeding.
Yeah.
Right, so, but then, IU and Ohio State are there. Penn State finishes with Minnesota tomorrow and Maryland next week. Should IU pull off the upset, they would face a 1-9 Purdue to finish the regular season to clinch the berth in the Big Ten championship, as well as I think the playoff, right? So I don't see a scenario in which IU wins this game, and if you just give them the Purdue game, who again Purdue's 1-9, I don't. Even if they lose in the Big Ten championship to Oregon, I don't see them being kept out. Do you?
No, I don't see them. I can see the only way that IU does not get in the playoff is if Ohio State trucks them. If they play ball with Ohio State and it stays within 10 points, I think they're still in the playoff.
So you think even with a loss, not going to the Big Ten championship, they're still in?
Yeah, that's their only conference loss.
Right, but then at the same time, they're going in as an at-large then. So then are you knocking out a Georgia potentially? Are you knocking out Alabama? Or are you knocking out
Notre Dame?
A Notre Dame? Are you knocking out a SMU or Miami, depending upon who loses that game.
The loser of the ACC title probably does not get in.
So ACC is a one team conference?
Yeah. Loser of the SEC title game might not get in. That's 3 losses, potentially.
Well, I think there's a caveat in there that you're allowed to have the 3 losses and still get in. So again, this is part of the reason we wanted 12 teams, right?
They're picking the 12 best teams. They're not picking the 12 best records. The thing that sucks, as far as the way they have everything, the way they have everything elsewhere, the thing that sucks is the conference champions get in an automatic bye. If you're picking the 12 best teams, you can't tell me that who's in the 4.
The Penn State's 4.
And 4 seed when you get to the bracket.
Oh, SM or Miami right now?
I thought Miami was in the 3, and then the Big 12.
So it would be BYU.
BYU. You can't tell me that BYU is a better team than Alabama, Georgia,
right? But
Ole Miss.
But at the same time, though, like
when you're seeding, you want to seed the best.
I get it, but you have to give something for conference championships that have to mean something. Otherwise, you're not playing them. And the thing is you're not going to sit here and tell these conferences, yeah, here, you're going to get into the playoffs, but guess what? Your conference championship means nothing. And then we stop playing it, and then what happens? Everybody loses out on all the money, the TV contracts, all that stuff. So everything's tied into the whole money of it, obviously, but you have to make the conference championships mean something. So if that means a bye, then so be it. But, I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, I don't think you look at it, if you are able to get into the playoff, which I think they do, but if you're able to get into the playoff, I don't think you look at it and you go, man, we have to play a home game in our first playoff game? Okay, I'm good.
If it ends right now, I believe they go to Notre Dame.
Well, how fun would that be?
There's 3 SEC teams that have to go to the North in the cold, and if the brackets are as they are right now.
Jimmy tuning in on YouTube says that Colorado will be in the 4 spot. So he's predicting Deion Sanders to win that Big 12 and take down that 4 spot. Jimmy, we appreciate you always tuning in, brother. So the last conference we need to discuss here, SMU at 6-0 in ACC play with Miami and Clemson, both with 1 conference loss. Clemson's ACC slate is over. They're done. They're at 6-1 or 5. No, 6-2. Sorry, no, 7-1. 7-1. Clemson's ACC slate is over. Miami still has Wake Forest tomorrow, and then Syracuse to finish the season. SMU faces 5-5 Virginia tomorrow, and then takes on California next Saturday, a week from Saturday. So still 2 games to go for SMU. Still 2 games to go for Miami. Clemson is done. SMU, I think, is going to get into the ACC championship. It's whether or not Clemson is going to be there. So because of the mutual opponents and the records against, if Miami and Clemson all end up with the same record, or Miami, Clemson, and SMU all end up with the same record, Miami and SMU would go in because of Clemson's loss to my Louisville Cardinals, since Miami and SMU both beat us. They're a really weird situation there. But if you're a Clemson fan, I don't think you can look at the Miami game versus Syracuse next week. I don't think you can write off Syracuse in that game. They have a really, really good chance of winning that game, I think. And
is it in the Dome?
I believe it's in Syracuse, yes. So should be really, really interesting to see what happens there. I don't think Miami has trouble with Wake Forest, but they could have trouble with the spoiler in Syracuse next week, which, again, Clemson, they have to be Wake Forest and Syracuse fans, respectively, for the next couple of weeks. So, because I think SMU is in no matter what at this point. I don't foresee them losing to Virginia or California. But ACC, man, what could have been? I mean, Florida State, they're just begging for the season to be over. Clemson, there are only 2 opponents that they faced that were of any consequence. They lost both of those. SMU, like you said, newcomer, they're coming in and showing what they're made of. And then Miami, they've been getting by on the skin of their teeth.
Cardiac kids.
The entire season, and they finally go down. I think a lot of people are ready for the ACC football season to be over and kind of reboot it, rejump it. But
ACC's always been a basketball conference anyway from the beginning.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, there's still been some good football in there too. But as a Louisville fan, I'm definitely hoping that Louisville is able to finish out the season strong. Definitely beat Kentucky, which is on the slate next week. So big rivalry game there for us.
As a dude that lived 4 years in the triangle of North Carolina, it's a basketball conference.
No, absolutely. But make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we're going to go over some Man Cave jerseys. You're not going to want to miss this. Ross, have you participated in one of these yet?
I don't think so.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Make sure you stay tuned to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Just in time for the holidays and not by popular demand, Coach Hale sings his favorites. And who can forget? To a burn ring of fire, down, 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 that flame red higher. It's that burn, that ring of fire. Oh, plus this one. Coach James Hale, it's a good thing he knows sports because he doesn't sing worth a big show today. Big.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Friday's weather forecast. Clear the remainder of the day with temps near 62 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind out of the north and a temperature of 44. About the same tomorrow, around 64 with sunshine and a wind coming out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. Sunny Sunday and quite warm around 69. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
They're number one in the men's room.
I hope this place comes with toilet paper.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Oh, geez, this is going to be a photo finish.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. And we are your home for select Orlando Magic games. Make sure you stay tuned for the schedule coming up there. And I believe Bone Crusher is working on a contest with the Orlando Magic as well.
We're going to send a busload of maniacs all the way to Orlando, overnight stay. One of those real nice suites, stuff you full of hot dogs, watch the Magic, that sort of thing.
Do we have a game picked out for that yet?
We've got to whittle down to 3 different games we might do. So that info.
Come on, Bucks game.
Keep listening for more details.
Oh, you want to go see Giannis?
I want to go see Giannis.
Man, I wouldn't mind going to see Wemby. If the Spurs come in and go see Wembanyama down there. But we're also your home for the NFL. The NFL does play right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And with that in mind, we kind of teased it a little bit. The Man Cave jersey discussion, okay?
Give us a call, people. 850-215-6290.
100%. So the way this works is you have a man cave, and you have enough wall space for every team from every sport to hang. And you can hang a jersey on the wall, but you can only pick one person from each team, and you have to, even though if it's a Bears jersey, you have to pick a Bears jersey, right? As a Packers fan. Just like I have to pick a Steelers jersey. So
need something to start the fireplace.
So really, really good discussion game here. It gets the blood boiling, and it's really cool because there's some picks out there that people make that you necessarily wouldn't think of. Like Braves fans, for instance. I mean, I know some Braves fans that were like, I want a Sid Bream jersey, right? Sid Bream. I mean, he made the slide to win the game. So
that was the series. That was the only year y'all won the World Series in that run, wasn't it?
They did not win the World Series. Oh. That was the play that won the National League
but I thought they
championship.
went on to beat Cleveland in the World Series after that.
We didn't win the World Series till 95. That was 92.
So they lost
they were so exciting. That was such a great win for the city.
I remember that.
And everyone's going to love Sid Bream forever.
Right. So, again, that's one of those things where it's not like the obvious of Chipper Jones or Ronald Acuna, right?
Yeah, he was never an all-star, right?
Right. I mean, he was just a run-of-the-mill guy. I mean, he was a...
Yeah, that's what we love about him, too.
Yeah.
I think he was as fast as I am.
Yeah, he could have been Chef Ross schlepping around the bases.
All right, so let's go NFC North here. Start off with NFC North. Let's go Chicago Bears. You have to pick one Chicago Bear jersey to hang in your man cave. Who is it?
I'll go Urlacher. I like
Brian Urlacher.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a toss-up between him and Singletary. I like what they meant to the defense and the bloody North. So,
okay.
Maybe either Jim McMahon or Sweetness.
So Walter Payton. Walter Payton's a good one. I think I go Devin Hester. What that dude was able to do on a football field in the roles that he was given was absolutely phenomenal. So I think as a non-Bears fan, I think a Devin Hester jersey would be very, very cool to hang up there.
I should actually go with the Cutler jersey because he won so many games, or he lost
Cutler
so many
was
games.
my second. Cutler was my second. I think I would put a Marlboro right up there next to it too, just kind of hang out.
We never had to worry about the Bears when Cutler played for them. It was awesome.
Right. All right. So Minnesota Vikings.
Do I have to have one?
You do.
Warren Moon. He wasn't there long.
Warren Moon. Okay.
That's a solid one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too.
You're on Warren Moon as well.
Yeah.
You were going with his Oilers jersey where he made all of his money?
Well, I mean, there's some obvious choices, right? With Chris Carter, Randy Moss.
Why don't I take their kicker? How long was the Great Dane over there? Morton Anderson.
Oh, Morton Anderson. Oh, he was there a long time.
Yeah, I'll go with him because even though he
the only
got us into the Super Bowl as the Falcons, I'll take him. Can I do that? Take him as a jersey for the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. He played for the Vikings, right?
He did.
There you go. It works. For me, as a Minnesota, for the Minnesota Vikings, I got to go Teddy Bridgewater, just because the Louisville connection there. And
I was in Minneapolis when he almost broke his leg off.
Oh man, and what could have been, I think, for his career had he not. But in fact, he's coaching high school down at his alma mater down there in Northwest Florida, or in Northwestern in Florida. I think they won their first playoff game 69-0. So he's doing some wonderful things down there. All right, so we got Minnesota, we got Chicago, Detroit Lions.
It's got to be Barry. I mean,
Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry or their current quarterback, former UGA star, Matthew Stafford.
No, not current. He's in L.A.
I'm sorry, Goff. Former
quarterback. I was going to say Jared Goff. That's my cousin. Not really. I don't think he is. Yeah, Barry Sanders is a good one as well. I think I got to go Megatron though, and I would probably have Megatron on the back as well, just because that dude had such a phenomenal career, and I don't think he gets his kudos in terms of the respect. And I think a large part of it has to do with the shortened career, kind of like Barry, right? I mean, they both kind of just said, you know what, I'm out, I'm done.
He's the first one to make me question what a catch was.
Yeah, with the butt cheeks and all that stuff going down, but then he didn't complete it. Yeah. What in the world are we doing? We still don't know what a catch is.
No.
We still don't know what a catch is.
Now we don't know what a tackle is either.
Yeah, this is true. Man, they've done some things to our game. All right. Your Green Bay Packers. One. You only get one. It's tough.
It is tough. There's so many. I want to go off the wall, great person, but I also think I'll just go with Bart Starr, the guy that started this off.
Right.
Going legendary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll go with Bart Starr.
You'll go with Bart Starr as well? Okay. For me, I think one of the first memories I have of watching NFL as a kid was, and like really, really kind of getting into it, was watching, Favre and the Packers on Monday Night Football. And there was a play that Antonio Freeman made.
He did what?
Right. Where, he catches the ball and then it goes up, or it hits the ball. It hits him. It goes up in the air.
Hits the defender.
And then it goes up in the air, and then he catches it, and then he runs it in for the touchdown. And I was like, what in the world did I just watch? Like, I think about that play all the time because when you see these random plays happen in football, and then you go, well, for me, that he was the first guy to do that. So for me, as a for a Packer jersey, I think I got to go Antonio Freeman.
Freeman's a good choice.
All right. Let's go AFC North here. So we did your division. We'll do my division now. So let's go Baltimore Ravens.
Joe Flacco. I don't like what Ray Lewis did off the field, allegedly. I have to say allegedly because it's not proven, but I don't like that because the first time I ever heard the words Ray Lewis was the murder trial. I don't know where my head was while he was playing for the U, but that's the first time I heard the words Ray Lewis was during the Super Bowl, during the murder trial. So I like Joe Flacco.
Okay.
I'll go with Lewis just for the same reason, because of his infamous behavior.
So you're so not his play on the field or his dance coming out of the tunnel, but just because the talking point of
maybe not murdering somebody.
Yeah. So if you had a Patriots jersey, you would.
I know who your Bills jersey is too.
Right. Yeah. Big fan of Dateline, this guy, PC. Big fan of Dateline.
They'll call him Bone Crusher for a reason.
So the Ravens, again, obvious for me, Lamar Jackson, played at Louisville, won the Heisman. I think it's an easy one there for me. And a lot of people kind of, some of my friends, they ask me, well, how can you pull for the Ravens? Like, if the Bengals are out of it, I'm pulling for Lamar. Like, I want him to do things that nobody else on the planet has ever done. I want him to win a third MVP, and I want him to win, a Super Bowl. They keep telling this young man what he can and can't do, and he still keeps proving them wrong. Well, all right. Well, so we got somebody on the line here. We got Eric calling in. Wants to talk about Ray Lewis.
Yeah, this is Eric with an A, and I'm a diehard Miami Hurricanes fan. And I just got to set you guys straight.
Okay, have at it.
Ray Lewis was implicated by people just because he happened to be at the same club where a murder took place. There's a reason that he never even had to step foot inside of a courtroom, and that's because when they investigated it further, they found he had absolutely no knowledge of anything, nor anything to do with anything. So do your research before you start talking about people.
No one's accusing anything. He said, Ross even said, alleged. So let's slow back on the anger here, brother. We're all having fun.
What's he doing in that club?
To even say alleged, okay? He wasn't even alleged to have anything to do with the murder. He just happened to be in a place where a murder happened. That's all.
Right, but so let's play devil's advocate here. I'm sure we're not the only radio station, the only sports channel that's out there that's discussed this topic ad nauseum. And in Chef Ross's defense, it got you to call in and talk sports with us, brother. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Listen, man. I listen to you guys all the time, okay?
Awesome.
And I got to tell you, you drive me a little nuts sometimes because y'all hate on my Hurricanes so bad. None of y'all show them any kind of love ever. But I still love y'all, though. I still listen to y'all. And but when something like that comes up, that man, Ray Lewis, has done more for his community. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you did some research and actually looked at the things he's still doing today for his community, for the people around him, that man is an unbelievable human being. And just because he happened to be at a nightclub where a murder happened, and then somebody threw Ray Lewis's name out there, and then, oh, there's a famous name, So it was just news. It was just trying to make headlines. That's all it was.
Did Ray Lewis spend 2 weeks in jail for obstruction of justice?
Yes, he did. And then they came out and they found out that he had nothing to do with anything that went on, or knowledge of it, or anything else.
How did he obstruct justice?
Because they thought he knew something when he didn't. They were telling him that he did, that he knew what happened, that he helped plot it, that he helped plan it, and he had no knowledge of it. But there's a reason that all of it was dropped. There's a reason that all of it went away. I mean, and not only that, but his character is been it speaks for itself over the years. Like I said, if you just look at all the stuff that he does for his community, for where he's from, he's actually a really, really good human being that just happened to be in a bad place when something bad happened.
Well, Eric, hey, we appreciate you calling in, man. We are up against a break here real quick, but I do want to get your take. Does Miami take care of Wake Forest and Syracuse?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, no question.
All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in as always, brother, and you have a wonderful weekend, man.
You too. Go Canes.
Go Canes. I'll say it.
Hot take. Love it.
Fired up. I love it. Well, let's keep that fire going in the next hour. We got to take a quick break here. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
The answer is it's the most valuable franchise in sports. Deion Sanders has proven his point in Boulder. Listen, it's not like I talk to Deion Sanders every day, but I'm just guessing that considering he played there, is friends with the owner, if the owner calls and says, we need you to save this franchise, Deion will take the phone call.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Friday's weather forecast. Clear the remainder of the day with temps near 62 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind out of the north and a temperature of 44. About the same tomorrow, around 64 with sunshine and a wind coming out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. Sunny Sunday and quite warm around 69. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM. Or call us at 850-851-0453.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX New Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hello, Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Hello, Tracy. It's Santa. I'm so busy this year, I really could use your help.
Absolutely, Santa. I'm happy to help.
This year, I want to make sure everyone gets what they ask for, and I know Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the largest selection at the lowest prices.
We sure do, Santa. We have some of the hottest trending styles around, and our cases are packed full of great deals.
Ho, 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 Tracy, I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Folks, shop where Santa shops at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Pound the like and crush the subscribe. Follow us on social media for the latest sports news, scores, and updates. Keeping you in the game. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is hour number 2 here in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm AG, along with Chef Ross and Bone Crusher on the ones and the twos. So, great phone call there by Eric. We appreciate you, brother. And let's finish off our man jerseys in the man cave here. We did Baltimore in the AFC North. Let's go to Cleveland now.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, okay.
Chubb. Former
GA.
Nick Chubb, yeah.
Right.
Going Nick Chubb. Man, y'all are going quick on these. Y'all are just like this. Most of the time we get here and people just are debating all the time. So, Cleveland's tough for me just because there's not a whole lot out there that I would be, really, really just.
I thought about Tim Couch, the actual Cleveland Browns first draft pick since they went to Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, I can't do Tim Couch. He played at Kentucky, so that one's out for me. Jim Brown's a good one.
Bernie Kosar.
Maybe. Yeah, I like Bernie Kosar a lot too. Growing up. I don't know. Let's go Jameis. Let's just keep it interesting. Let's just go Jameis. All right. So next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's so many Steelers.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw is a good choice. He was the first one to pop in my head. So was
someone from the Iron Curtain days.
Yeah. Mean Joe Green.
Oh,
Mean Joe Green. Yeah.
Mean Joe Green.
Loved his Coca-Cola commercials.
And then you went Bradshaw? You went Bradshaw?
I went Bradshaw, yes.
Okay. All right. For me, it boils down to two people, either Cordell Stewart or Antoine Randall L. Right? I loved Antoine Randall L's game. He played at IU. Again, not a Steelers fan, but I liked watching that dude play. He was integral to their Super Bowl run. There, I think it was Bettis's last year.
Yeah. So you're not going Troy Polamalu with the great hair?
No, not Troy. Not Troy. But no, I think Antoine Randall L is where I'll go there.
I missed my Steeler.
Who's that?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt? Okay. Well, we can save him for next time. All right, Cincinnati Bengals.
Icky Woods.
The Icky Shuffle. I like it.
I can't think of anybody I want a jersey from.
Boomer Esiason, Carson Palmer.
Chad Ochocinco.
No, definitely not. No. Give me
AJ Green, Andy Dalton.
Tim Crumry, the first person in chicken wing on national TV. Or Anthony Munoz, sorry.
Anthony Munoz.
All right, I'll take a Munoz, the offensive tackle.
One of the best in the game, if not the best.
That was the ugliest injury my childhood has ever seen.
I don't know, man. Who was the Niners offensive lineman? It was in Green Bay. It was Monday Night Football. He got rolled up on and his leg bent in half. Bryant?
Yeah.
Bryant. It was Bryant that got rolled up on. That was brutal. But as a Bengals fan, I go back a long time on the Cincinnati Bengals, back to, 88, 89 season. There was one guy, though, that kind of revitalized the Cincinnati Bengals in terms of fandom. And for me, that was Jeff Blake, who threw this, rainbow football to Darnay Scott and Carl Pickens and those guys. It was really, really fun football to watch. He was just this little bitty dude and could absolutely sling it a mile. So Jeff Blake, I think, for me, would be mine. Again, there's so many choices for me, but for me, Jeff Blake personifies that kind of changeover from the doldrums after Esiason left to, going through all those different quarterbacks, similar to how Cleveland did, and then Jeff Blake kind of took the reins and went from there. So, all right. So, awesome. So, Man Cave game, that's a game my buddy and I kind of went through as we were enjoying some adult beverages many, many years ago, and it's something that we still do to this day whenever we get together. So, still a lot of fun. Again, it's one of those that you can play at home with your buddies when you're, again, enjoying beverages or not enjoying beverages, and you're just wanting to, shoot the stuff. Or that, some nose beers.
I've never heard that before, nose beers.
Nose beers, yeah.
It's a service industry thing.
So, again, your ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Put our name right next to that.
Yeah, tag that, right?
Clip that one out.
Yeah, clip it. So we do have 3 games again on Sunday. You've got the Lions at the Colts to kick it off, and then the Broncos at Raiders, and then we finish up with Sunday Night Football on Sunday with the Eagles at the Rams, and then on Monday Night Football, the Ravens at the Chargers. Let's go through some of these NFL games. Obviously, we didn't get to do a pick-em this week with everything that's gone on. So Bucks at the Giants, obviously 2 teams that are going in different directions in terms of one getting a leader back and another one losing its supposed alleged leader. We'll use that word again, alleged. leader. So Bucks get Mike Evans back. They're favored by 6 at the New York Giants, who are now going with Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, Tommy Cutlets there. Over-unders at 41.5. Who are we liking in this game, guys?
For apparently no reason whatsoever, give me the under and give me the Giants. There's no reason they win this game, so watch them actually go ahead and do it.
So you think they're going to win despite them trying to tank for a draft pick?
It's kind of like when a team fires their coach. There's absolutely no reason to win that game, first game back, but they always do. Look at the Saints. They're 2-0 with a new coach.
Yeah, but Dennis Allen was so bad.
Yeah, and Danny Dimes was so bad, too.
Yeah. BC?
We're doing Bucks and Giants?
Bucks at Giants.
I think the Bucks might actually pull this one off.
I think Bucks go in there and win. I think they cover. I don't think this one's particularly close. I think you see a lot of running the ball for Tampa Bay. I think you see Mike Evans come back, make a couple big catches, and they kind of cement this one away. I don't think DeVito has enough.
He sparked him last year
for him. Yeah, but Neighbors is also banged up as well, who didn't participate in practice today. So we'll see how that goes. Jimmy says Bucks by 14. So I'm kind of right there with him. Chiefs at 10.5 favorites, or 10.5 point favorites at the Carolina Panthers. Over-under is 42.5. Isaiah Pacheco has already been ruled out. So if you do have Kareem Hunt on your fantasy squads, fire him up.
Yeah, that's Chiefs. I think they finally pull it together and look like an NFL offense for the first time this year.
Okay.
There's leaked video of a drunk Taylor Swift. I got the Chiefs.
Leaked video of a drunk Taylor Swift. Yeah. Okay, where did you see this? Did you see this on X? Was this on Reddit?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Is drunk Taylor Swift in Charlotte?
I don't know.
Okay.
No follow-up questions.
This Chiefs team is really, really odd, right? I mean, they're sitting there with one loss on the season. They've not really looked particularly good offensively. Obviously, they lost Rashee Rice for the season. They lost Isaiah Pacheco. I think the week prior to that with his leg injury. They've not. Travis Kelce has obviously lost a step, I think. But they go and get DeAndre Hopkins. You start to see Xavier Worthy being a little bit more, part of the offense last week. It's kind of that similar situation that we've seen with Kansas City in the last couple of years, right? Where there's not just one guy that you're focusing on. It's, because 2 years ago, it was Jerick McKinnon coming out of nowhere and being the guy and leading the offense, in receiving as well as rushing. And then last year you had Rashee Rice kind of stepping up and taking on that role. You saw a little bit from Sky Moore, which that guy's kind of disappeared now. And Pacheco was there last year as well.
That defense is stellar, though.
The defense is really, really good. And again, they're going against a Carolina team that is struggling mightily. I think they've got some good pieces. I think they do get Adam Thielen back, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think the Chiefs cover here, that 10.5, but I don't know that they hit that over-under of 42.5. Let's see. Jimmy says, give me the Panthers for the upset and Bills getting number 1 seed narrative. Just to let you know, Jimmy is a Bills fan, so it does work out well in his favor that way. Cowboys are 10.5 point dogs at the Washington Commanders. Over under at 45.5. That 45.5 number sticks out to me because most NFL lines are typically around that 41, 42 point margin. Them thinking that they're going to be higher scoring with the Commanders and the Cowboys is a little, Vegas doing that is a little odd to me.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that seems kind of weird, too, because Micah Parsons is going to be back and fully healthy, so the Dallas defense shouldn't be hurting. I don't think Dallas can move the ball at all, but I think their defense can hold Washington and make it a closer game. Washington wins the game down outright, but I don't know if they cover that 10.5, because at 45.5, take 10 off of that, what do you got? 21-10?
Well, it'd be 31.
Oh, that'd be 31. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at what the Commanders are doing offensively, they want to run the ball. Obviously, they're trying to save Jaden Daniels to keep him healthy for a playoff run. Going to be more difficult to do with that defensive line for Dallas, but you are able to run on Dallas, right? I mean, we've seen it the entire season. Running backs are able to just go buck wild on them. The Commanders do get Brian Robinson back this week, which should be a definite boost to them. And they, of course, they still have Austin Eckler, who the last couple of weeks has looked like Austin Eckler from a couple years ago in a Chargers uniform. BC, who are you taking in this game? Cowboys and Commanders.
I have not disliked an owner as much as I dislike Jerry Jones since George Steinbrenner. Washington with the win. Cover the spread.
Washington covers. I like it. I think Washington wins. I don't think they cover, but give me the under on this. I think it's going to be a run contest, and you're going to see Dallas trying to make it up with 60-yard field goals from Aubrey and trying to chuck it deep. If you're the Cowboys, though, like why are you not playing Trey Lance? Why are you not seeing what you got out of this young man right now, or trying to get something of some video of him on the field? Where maybe you can use him as trade bait.
Yeah, they see Trey Lance every day in practice, and he must not be that impressive against the 2s and 3s of the Cowboy defense.
Yeah. Patriots are 7.5-point dogs at the Miami Dolphins, over under of 46.5. This is one of those games that I feel like the Dolphins should win going away, but I feel like this is one of those games where the Dolphins could possibly lay an egg. What do you think?
I think that hook scares me. I think it's going to be right around 6.5 or 6-7. I don't know if they get past 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that hook scares me. Give me the Patriots to cover.
Patriots to cover. Do you think Patriots are using more of a run? Obviously, they're going to be running the ball with Drake May back there. They have looked a little bit better offensively. Miami has looked like a little bit more methodical as opposed to free reign where, Tua is just going to chuck it all over the field. Do you see New England kind of doing the same thing that Miami's doing and just trying to be a little bit more precise in what they're doing offensively?
Yeah, kind of. I don't see a whole lot going on in the Miami defense either, though. I don't see them playing stellar football.
Yeah. BC, who are you taking, bud? Patriots or Dolphins?
Every time I see Tua go back, I'm worried he's going to get hurt. I don't think he should be playing. But
I'm worried he's going to get killed, not hurt.
Yeah, right. But I got the Dolphins.
You're going with the Dolphins. Do they cover?
I am.
7.5.
No.
No? Okay. So Patriots do cover the 7.5. I think the Dolphins win this one going away. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where Drake May puts himself in a situation that, he probably shouldn't be in, and he ends up with a couple turnovers, and the Dolphins are able to capitalize on it. I feel like this is going to be a big Devon Achane game, and I feel like this is going to be a big Tua game. I feel like there's going to be a lot of yards put up by the Dolphins. Jimmy says Pats win because Dolphins suck. Again, Bills fan. Love you, Jimmy. Titans 8-point dogs at the Houston Texans, over under 40.5. Texas is getting back a healthy Nico Collins, who did play last week in a limited role. Joe Mixon is playing out of his mind right now.
That stupid offensive lineman cost me an anytime touchdown bet.
So I wouldn't say necessarily a big game here, but I think for C.J. Stroud's confidence, I think this is going to be a big game for them toward the end of the season.
I think they've got to establish dominance early and get things rolling for the playoffs, so Houston covers.
Okay.
Texans at home, and a quick shout-out to James Kelly in the chat. He's been texting in his favorite jerseys. Had a great idea for Pittsburgh, the bus, by the way.
Oh, Jerome Bettis, nice. Love that. We appreciate you tuning in. All right, so you said you're going Texans over the Titans?
Correct. Texans at home.
Texans at home over the Titans. I got the Texans as well. I don't believe the Titans have enough offensively. They did just lose Snead for the season, their best defensive back. So when you've got the likes of Nico Collins and Tank Dell coming at you, as well as Dalton Schultz, it doesn't bode well for the Tennessee Titans. I feel like the Titans need to get back to running the ball with Tony Pollard and him in terms of being the key factor of the offense, because you've seen as as Pollard goes, they go offensively, and I don't know if they're trying to save him or they're saving him for what. I mean, there's no playoff run to be had for them, but who knows what's going on down there with Brian Callahan and the Tennessee Titans. So next game is the Lions. They're 7-point favorites at the Indianapolis Colts. The over-under of 49.5.
Yeah, I don't see how the Lions lose this game at all. I take Lions plus 14 in this one because they're going to score some points. They're going to score them early and often.
These ain't your daddy's Lions.
They're not. And then they win the Super Bowl next week on Thanksgiving Day and then probably fall back to the face of the earth, and Green Bay wins that division.
All right, Lions, Colts, who you taking there?
Lions.
Taking the Lions all day? All right. AR coming off a big game last week, right? At least fantasy-wise. I think that's the reason that you're seeing this kind of 49.5-point spread. I do believe that you're going to see Anthony Richardson kind of coming back down to earth a little bit in the face of that Detroit Lions defense. Do I feel like Jared Goff is capable of having the game he had last week? I do, but do I see it 2 weeks in a row? I don't. I feel like Detroit gets back to their bread and butter, which is what Sonic and Knuckles and Gibbs and Montgomery running the football.
That still puts up points.
It does put up points because they're able to break them. You're absolutely right. But they also put themselves in the right situation defensively with, getting key stops and turnovers. So I think the Lions run away with this one. Jimmy says Texans win this easy. Lions win, cover, and give me the over. He's going with the over, and I just hope that means that Amon-Ra St. Brown scores a lot of points for me. Let's see. Vikings, 3.5-point favorites at the Chicago Bears, over-under of 41.5.
Can the Bears finish a game? I mean, there's 2 or 3 that they should have easily won. Definitely Washington, definitely Green Bay. And I want to say there's a third one that's slipping my mind right now, but if they can finish a game, I think they're
Texans? I believe it was Texans.
Yeah.
That was that third game.
But if they can finish the game, I'll take Caleb Williams at home, give Green Bay an extra step into that second place spot in the division.
Okay. Yeah. So you're predicting based on what you want to happen for your Packers.
And there's a chance. I mean, Chicago looked good for 42 minutes of that game Sunday against Green Bay. A healthy Green Bay defense at that. Yeah. So
okay.
If they keep messing up, something's fixed. So I think the Bears are going to get it together.
The Bears are going to win this
Chicago,
one?
Yep.
Man, so I'm on an island here. I'm taking the Vikings. I feel like there's been too many opportunities for Caleb Williams and Chicago Bears offensively to take that next step, and they just haven't for whatever reason. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's a matter of motivation on Caleb Williams' part, but it seems like there's always some obstacle standing in their way, and right now that obstacle is the Minnesota Vikings. Give me the Vikings all day here. I think they win big. And let's see, before we get to our next round of games, let's take a quick break here at timeout, and going to pay some bills, and when we get back, we'll finish up with some of the more premium games here, including Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, which you can catch right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Just in time for the holidays and not by popular demand, Coach Hale sings his favorites. And who can forget? To a burn ring of fire, down, 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 that flame red higher. It's that burn, that ring of fire. Oh, plus this one. Coach James Hale, it's a good thing he knows sports because he doesn't sing worth a big show today. Big, big, big.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, clear and a low of 45 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and warm near 58. Clear and 65 in the afternoon and evening. 69 and sunshine with a very light wind Sunday. Monday, mostly sunshine and a temperature slightly warmer at 76. This is your Friday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
From Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge, we're live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to the Doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. And again, we are your home for Auburn Tiger basketball and football. And I'm AG along with Chef Ross and BC on the ones and the twos. And it's going to finish up these NFL matchups here. Real quick, going back to the Vikings at Bears. Jimmy on YouTube says, Caleb is a bust. I have no faith they can win. Vikings all day. Hell, give me the local high school team to beat Caleb and the Bears. He didn't say which specific high school team, so I'm going to go with maybe the best team in the state.
I don't think it's North Bay Haven.
Yeah. All right, their season's over. Yeah. Let's leave them be. They're moving on. Everything's moving forward. We're progressing. Let's get a new coach in there, North Bay Haven. Let's get those kids in there. Let's coach them up. And
let's get in that weight room.
Maybe they can have a turnaround like Arnold did, right? I mean, nobody saw Arnold doing what they did this season. So, let's stay positive.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think the Bears and Caleb Williams can beat.
They could beat North Bay Haven. I would hope so. All right, let's see. The next game we got on the docket is Broncos is a 6-point favorite at the Las Vegas Raiders, over under of 41.5. Broncos at Raiders.
Allegiant Stadium, the only place in Vegas where the house does not have the odds.
Well, I mean, Bo Nix looks great with his coach. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go with Denver.
Okay, so you're both going Denver?
Yeah, I'm taking Denver.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this one's easy to look at. I mean, Bo Nix, with the way he's playing, I said it on Wednesday, and I'll say it again. I think the telling point about Bo Nix and his season was the performance that not just he had, but his entire team had against Baltimore a few weeks ago, and just getting drubbed, and then them able to come back and really turn things around, both offensively and defensively. It's definitely a sleeper team, and it's one of those teams that you never know where it's going to come from, whether it's the running game, whether it's going to be from Bo Nix throwing the ball or Bo Nix running the ball. So it's a really, really interesting situation that Sean Payton's got there. And I think you would have to look at Sean Payton right now as potentially Coach of the Year with the job that he's doing out there in Denver.
With as much of a train wreck as it was last year with Russ, and to turn it around with Bo Nix is phenomenal coaching job.
Oh, 100%.
I think the other option in that would be Washington. Turning them around as quick as Dan Quinn did.
Yeah, and it's a good story. And again, I think you look at what we talked about earlier, right, with Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels and who's going to win Rookie of the Year. And I feel like we're kind of in that same situation with Coach of the Year, right? They're tied together there. So, could we see one of those co-offensive Rookie of the Years, co-Coach of the Years? Potentially. I mean, if you look at what Dan Quinn left in Dallas and what he's brought over to Washington, Sean Payton coming back into the fold of the NFL, going to Denver, not having a really, really good year, last year. All of a sudden, he gets his guy, which everybody kind of balked at. I mean, it's Bo Nix. Everybody knew we thought we knew what we were getting from Bo Nix. And here they are with essentially those same weapons that Russell Wilson had at his disposal, same offensive line, yet Bo Nix is, a couple wins away from putting Denver into the postseason, the playoffs. So kudos to both of those guys. Niners at Packers. The Niners, before when I wrote this, Purdy was still active and was still playing. Purdy is now out for this game. So 49ers says we're a 3-point dog at the Green Bay Packers, over under at 46.5.
Well, also Jair Alexander is ruled out for Sunday's game, so that's hurts Green Bay's defense a lot because that stops what they do on the defensive end. It makes them play a lot more zones, a lot less locking up. Green Bay has to win this game at home. They can't lose a game in Lambeau. They have to figure out a way to beat the 49ers for the first time since like 93 or something crazy. Probably closer to 98, but since the Brett Favre era, they haven't beat the Niners.
Yeah, Rodgers didn't have a whole lot of luck. Whether it was Kaepernick that was at quarterback or Alex Smith, it didn't matter. Rodgers didn't have a whole lot of luck up there in Green Bay against the Niners.
So, yeah, give me Green Bay to cover. I was just looking up what the spread went to today.
Yeah, did it change?
I couldn't find it on Hard Rock real quick, but let me...
It's all good.
What's the weather?
I don't know. Maybe we'll check that out too. But who are you taking in the Green Bay Niners game?
I'm going to go with the Niners unless there's some snow on the ground.
Okay, so even a Brock Purdy less 49ers going into Green Bay.
And a weakened defensive line as well.
Trying to talk me out of my pick here.
I'm just trying to give you all the facts, all the information. I want you to make an educated
Green Bay minus
pick
5.
Here. So it went up 2? Okay. All right, so he's checking the line. He's checking the weather.
I'm checking the weather. The weather's not going to have any snow, so yeah, we'll go with Green Bay then.
Okay,
that was my factor.
So
None of those other.
He's taking Green Bay. I'm going to take Green Bay as well. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where Jordan Love finally gets that monkey off his back because the last couple of weeks he's had some performances that left a lot to be desired out there on the field. I feel like the kid has all the tools, but I feel like there's something going on in that Green Bay offense, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I don't feel like Jordan Love is really comfortable yet in that offense.
He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket anytime he goes back.
And for me, what I look at is I look at great quarterbacks and who's their guy, right? Like, I don't feel like Jordan Love has his guy. Like, he's got a bunch of guys. He's got Jaden Reed, he's got Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Kraft, all that, right? I get all that. But Burrow's got his Chase, right? Darnold's got his Jefferson, all so on and so forth. Like, when you see these teams that are competing, like even Bo Nix has Cortland Sutton, like there's all these successful franchises that are playing in the league right now, and Green Bay can be one of those, but I feel like there's a connection missing between him and his receivers and somebody standing out. I don't know if that's a LaFleur offense thing or if that's maybe Jordan Love just isn't getting on the same page with his guys.
Well, it's about this time last year that Jordan Reed emerged and seemed to be the guy for Jordan Love. And it was about this time last year where Jordan Love put it together and they made that deep run into the playoffs. So hopefully that win against Chicago wakes something up between his ears because he's making a lot of dumb decisions and putting the ball where it shouldn't be.
So who should be that guy for Jordan Love?
I like Romeo Doubs. I like Reed.
You got to pick one, just like a jersey in the man cave. You got to who's going to be the guy for Jordan Love that's going to be his Jamar Chase?
I'm going with Doubs.
Romeo Doubs? Okay. So I'm taking the Packers here. I think if Purdy plays, the Niners get the win. But I think the Packers win a close one here. I don't think they cover the 5. I feel like it's going to go down to the wire again. But I would like to see Jordan Love find his groove offensively because I think the Green Bay Packers desperately need him going forward to get into that final playoff spot. And, they're dangerous if they get there because defensively they can get the stops when they need them. Obviously we saw the blocked field goal We've seen what that offense is capable of when it's cooking. Josh Jacobs is having a heck of a year up there, very, very quietly, having a really, really good year. So I really like, just for all the naysayers that just banged on Jordan Love for a couple years there when he sat behind Aaron Rodgers.
I was one of them.
I would really like for him to kind of step out of the shadow and be that guy up there.
Yeah. I was also the dude that banged on Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So I was definitely proven wrong with that one, and I really hope I'm proven wrong again.
All right, let's see. Big Fred joining in. We appreciate you. Jimmy says Broncos, Raiders have no offense. He also said no Purdy. Love gets it done. Packers to win. And Fred, I appreciate you too, buddy. Cardinals at Seahawks. Cardinals are 1-point favorites in Seattle, and the over-under sitting at 47.5.
Give me the Cardinals. They've had a good year this year. They've surprised a lot of people. Seattle, I think, is taking a step back from what they could be and what they were last year. So, yeah, 12th man isn't doing a whole lot of good up there in Seattle.
Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, they got it.
Okay, so both y'all going to Cardinals. I'm going the Cardinals, but not because of Kyler Murray. Seattle did eke out that win last week against the Los Angeles Rams on a 12-yard touchdown run by Geno Smith with like 10 seconds to go. But the defense in Arizona is something that nobody's talking about. Budda Baker and those boys are really, really putting together a historic run right now in the NFL, where they have not surrendered a touchdown in over 3 games. And they're not scoring more than, their opponents are not scoring more than 20 points against them, which I think is giving Kyler Murray and that offense obviously giving them a really, really good chance to put up some numbers. And, the time of possession and, number of plays and all that other stuff. And it wears down the other team's defense, right? So I think you're going to see Marvin Harrison become more of a weapon. James Conner is having a good year, but Trey Benson has been backing him up here the last couple weeks and has been playing really, really well. I feel like the Cardinals are one of those teams at 6-4 that probably end up winning that division. They're 6-4 now. I think they end up winning that division, and that's one of those things where I don't know that you want to face the Cardinals in the playoffs.
Is that another one where a 12-4 wildcard team goes to 7-9 division winner first round of playoffs?
It could be. I don't know that the Cardinals end up in that.
Well, they're at 6, so
they're at 6-4 right now, right? And the rest of the division is at 5-5. So it's a really, really tight race. So for me, I feel like the Rams are just way too many peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Right? Like you see Matt Stafford just go absolutely nuts, and then he looks like he shouldn't be playing in the league. And then you look at Seattle, and you never know what you're going to get at Seattle. Are they a running team? Are they a passing team? I don't know. They never pick. The Niners have the most talent in the league, I think, team, roster-wise, but they just can't seem to put it together.
They can't stay healthy.
Yeah, there's a lot of that as well. It's going to be one of those races as we go down to the wire here that everybody's going to be looking at. And I think the one team, if you're in the NFC, that you don't want to see in there is the Cardinals, because defense travels. So Cardinals on that one. Sunday Night Football, which you can listen to right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Eagles 3-point favorite at the Los Angeles Rams, over under 48.5.
I think the last few weeks the Eagles have played the best football in the league right now. I realize Detroit's Detroit and they're phenomenal, but I think they've kind of plateaued. It's hard to say with as many points as they put up last week, but we know what Detroit is. Philadelphia, we're starting to figure out what they are, and they're a pretty doggone good football team. They learn to run the ball more. They learn to play their defense, and just let Jalen make a couple plays here and there. Give it to Saquon.
Rams at home.
Going with the upset. Rams at home. I like it. So is it more of a Puka and Cooper Kupp kind of day, or is this more like Eagles kind of peeing down their leg a little bit?
I just think a home field advantage on a close game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the home team.
Okay, so you're on that peak rather than the valley right now for the Rams. I like it.
Matthew Stafford,
Oh, you're a Georgia boy. All right. Let's see. Jimmy says, Geno and Metcalf get it done. Give me the Seattle Sea Chickens. And let's see. Fred asked a question. He said, the Rams' failures got to be on coaching and preparation. No, I don't think so. I think a large part of it has to do with health as well. I mean, that offensive line has been banged up all season. Matthew Stafford is not looking, like the spry chicken he once was. I mean, he showed flashes of what he was a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl. But he's also had moments where it was like, why is he still playing right now? He's in danger of getting hurt. And I think Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league still. So for me, I don't know that it's necessarily that. But Ross, you're right. The Eagles are playing some of the best football in the league right now, both offensively and defensively. Devontae Smith potentially being out doesn't help matters for the Eagles' cause going all the way out west. But I like what the Eagles are doing. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to cover here. And it looks like we have Kyle on the line here. Kyle?
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
Oh, hey, it's Kyle Wright. How we doing, Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle Wrong. I'm good, man. Good. I turn on the radio, I hear AG, and I hear Chef Ross, and I'm like, well, golly, I feel like I texted Adam on accident earlier. I might as well give him a call on purpose.
He said, hey, we just got this new driver in. Somebody's wanting to do a fitting session. And I'm like, well, good for them. That's awesome.
I was scrolling through my phone, meant to text Alan Watson, the owner of Golf Plus, one of our great sponsors over there, and my boss, and hit the first day I saw, and it was Adam Goff. So,
yeah.
But the heart knows what it wants, Adam.
There you go. So, Kyle, what you thinking about the NFL this week, bud?
Oh, man, there's some not a lot of really interesting games. I think other than that Ravens-Chargers game, it's kind of a weekend where you could probably make quite a bit of money if you do some parlays.
Yeah? What parlay in particular are you thinking about?
Well, I would say, right, like you got the Dolphins against the Pats. I think the Dolphins are kind of expected to win that one, at least in my eyes. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe
Dolphins are 7.5-point favorites right now.
Right. So you got I think the Lions. Who do the Lions play? They play at the Colts.
At
right?
Indy, yep.
Right. So that's kind of a pick'em game. I think the Packers play somebody kind of weak this week, right?
They have the Niners coming in without Brock Purdy.
Right. So, I mean, if you want to kind of throw a couple big parlays together, this will be the weekend to do it.
Nice. So what are you up to? Are you still out there at are you still out there at Golf Plus right now, bud?
No, I actually just left, so I'm driving over to my in-laws' house and figured I'd give you a call real quick just to say, don't let the Miami Dolphins get hot, boys.
Well, and that's what's weird is you saying that and Jalen Waddle playing the way he's playing, right? I mean, you look at Tyreek Hill, who's banged up. He's got the wrist injury. Tua has come back and he's looked great. Jonnu Smith has been a breath of fresh air for you guys. Devon Achane has been great. Mostert has not looked like Raheem Mostert, but you do have Jalen Wright there as well. The defense has been serviceable, but it's just weird. I can't be all in on Miami with Jalen Waddle playing the way he's playing right now, particularly with Tyreek Hill banged up.
So I would say this, because I completely agree with you, and you know me better than a lot of people do. I don't sit here and toot my team's horns very often if they don't.
You're a self-hater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very self-deprecating.
Years of being a Reds fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy being I'm a Reds fan, a Dolphins fan. Somebody do a quick Google who have the 2 longest playoff win droughts in sports, and that's how my wife knows I'll be loyal to her forever. Because if I'll stay loyal to those people, and if I'll stay loyal to those 2 dumpster fires, I'll stay loyal to a beautiful woman. But anyway, as far as the Dolphins go, my counter argument with that would be they're winning games. They're winning games convincingly. They had Buffalo beat. They lost to Buffalo, but obviously Kansas City did that too. Miami put up a better fight against Buffalo, right? So my counter argument to that would be Miami's winning games without their top stars playing to their potential. As soon as those guys get going, that's not a team you're going to want to play in the playoffs if they get in.
Yeah. Hey, what did you make of McDaniels on the sideline yelling at Max Crosby? We didn't even have a play. Did you see that?
So here's the thing about Mike McDaniel. I don't know if he is smoking something laced with something. It's because I think we've all partaken in in Lucifer's lead at the time or two. his whatever strand he's hitting, that's different, brother. I got nothing. I'm like, man, he's definitely in his 30s.
Well, it was just wild. I don't know if you've seen the clip or not, Chef Frost, but they get the Raiders to jump off sides on a crucial fourth down, and then they pan over to Mike McDaniel on the sideline, and he's taking off his headphones, and you can read his lips, and he's saying, "We didn't even have a play called."
There's
Max.
actual audio where he's walking up and down the.
Hear him?
McDaniels is walking up and down the sidelines, going, "I'm going to pretend to change the play. I'm going to pretend to change the play." Walks over to the Tua. I'm pretending to change the play, run what we had. Crosby jumps off sides, then you hear him screaming at Crosby, "We didn't even have a play called, Max."
Wow. All right, so let me get your real quick take here. Dolphins make the playoffs, yes or no?
Yes, just because of the schedule.
Okay, so does that mean the Broncos are not making it?
I think the Broncos are gonna hit reality here pretty soon.
Okay.
I think the only thing standing between the Dolphins and the playoffs is if the Bengals defense can even play bad. Because if the Bengals defense can start playing even bad, then the Bengals are going to get hot.
Yeah.
Because they're playing so bad, like horrible.
Yeah.
But if they could just play bad, Adam, and you're a Bengals fan, you know that.
I do.
If they could just get to being a bad defense, the Bengals are going to win every game they have left.
Yeah, I agree, especially with the way Burrow's cooking. So
playing the man cave game, Kyle. Who is your one and only Dolphins man cave jersey?
One and only Dolphins man cave jersey. That's tough because a lot of people would probably go way back, but obviously I'm going to kind of stick in my fandom here. I'm going to go. We're going to go Zach Thomas, NFL Hall of Famer as of last year.
Nice. I like that choice.
Backup would obviously be Jason Taylor, but he played at the U as well, and that's.
Hey, we've already got in trouble for bashing the U enough today.
Right. Well, Kyle, we appreciate you calling in, man. We are up against the break going into our final segment, but appreciate you as always and love you, brother. And you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, got a little bit of high school news to check out, and we'll go over the Ravens and Chargers.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
The answer is it's the most valuable franchise in sports. Deion Sanders has proven his point in Boulder. Listen, it's not like I talk to Deion Sanders every day, but I'm just guessing that considering he played there, is friends with the owner, if the owner calls and says, "We need you to save this franchise," Deion will take the phone call.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, clear and a low of 45 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and warm near 58. Clear and 65 in the afternoon and evening. 69 and sunshine with a very light wind Sunday. Monday, mostly sunshine and a temperature slightly warmer at 76. This is your Friday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
They said it couldn't be done. The Afternoon Underdogs are live.
They say it can't be done.
Are we going to do what they say can't be done?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Well, you know what? We are doing it right here in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. This is our final segment of the day. Ross, we appreciate you all you coming in at short notice, and PC filling in on the ones and twos. And been a really, really rough week for a lot of folks out there, and it's one of the great things about not only this community, but also this network of people that we have, everybody coming together and doing what they can to help. So
it's been said a lot this week, but definitely thoughts and prayers with the David Hayes family with everything they're going through.
Right. Looks like we got a phone call. We have LSU Jeff on there. Looks like he wants to talk about the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm a big Dolphins fan, and I can't believe you would have a man cave and not have Marino's jersey up in your man cave. Come on.
You only get one.
And you can only pick one.
You only get one. It's Marino. There's no even ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Kyle's not as seasoned as you are, Jeff.
Well, he might not be as old as I am, maybe.
Yeah. So he went with the guy from his fandom time. Well, I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'll give him that much. I mean, you're not going to put Tua's jersey up there, I guess, yet. I mean, you're not going to put Ricky Williams up, obviously. But anyway, no, but I will agree with him because I think a lot of people are not thinking about the Dolphins slipping into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how the tiebreaker is going to work out. But I think that the Dolphins have a very good chance of being 9-8, and the Broncos being the same thing because the Dolphins have a little bit easier of a schedule, and they might be a game and a half behind, but they're going to gain that game and a half behind to have the same record, and that's the last slot in the playoffs because the Chargers and the Ravens have the other wild cards.
Right, which, well, at this point they do. I mean, the Steelers losing last night, that drops them back to 8-3, so now they're only a game up on the Ravens right now. So Ravens still have their bye week coming up, I think, on week 14. So still a lot to be determined, a lot of things that can happen. But the key for the Dolphins, I think, is what Kyle said is that offense going to be able to get hot at the right time? Because they're doing well right now, but they're doing well without the production from Tyreek Hill and from Jalen Waddle, and they're getting it from the other guys. Yeah, as soon as they start getting it from Waddle again and from Tyreek Hill, if he's able to with the wrist injury, they will be a force to be reckoned with if they were to make it to the playoffs.
My question with the Dolphins getting in is the same thing as the college football playoff. There's a lot of warm weather teams in the college football playoff that are traveling up north, if it ends today, to play in the Big Ten home stadium. The Dolphins will be playing every one of their playoff games in the cold. Can that type of game travel, to throw the ball around?
Tua doesn't travel well in the cold. This is a fact. The only game that I think he's played well was the snowball game in Buffalo, and they still lost that game.
They played decent in Kansas City last year, didn't they? That one.
I don't know how cold it was, though.
Like negative 12.
So this absolutely sounds like a repeat of, I guess was it 2 years ago when the Dolphins lost to the Bills in the first round?
I believe so.
Yeah, 2 years ago. I mean, if they're the 7th seed, which we're kind of obviously kind of leaning towards that. We don't know the Broncos going to take the last spot. But if the Dolphins were to take that 7th spot, they're playing the 2 seed, which is right now is the Bills.
Yeah.
So, this looks like a repeat of 2 years ago, and I think it's going to happen the same way where the Bills are going to beat the Dolphins, and then me being a Dolphins fan, I don't hate the Bills. I hate the Jets.
Well, I think that's like the Mets and the Jets. Everybody just kind of just says, you know what, I really don't like them.
Honestly, I'm surprised you even think about the Jets. They haven't been relevant in 60 years.
Yeah, but you have to understand it's not just the games that we've played against them, and they've slipped a couple of games past us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fan base. They're aggravating. The Bills fans don't aggravate me nearly, not even close to what the Jets fans aggravate me. And some of them are Patriot haters, but that's because they win, and that's the reason why they hate Patriots. But the Jet fan base is, again, I talked to, who was it? Yeah, David Hayes before about the two teams I really kind of enjoy seeing them lose, and I don't want to be a hater, but the Bears and the Jets, and and when LSU and the
you just like to kick them when they're down, don't you, Jeff?
I don't. But let me tell you something. When your team loses, like what was it? I think it might have been 2 weeks ago, when the Jets blew a game and the Bears blew a game in the last second. I was like, that was the only enjoyment I had because the Saints were like 2-7 and firing their coach.
Yeah.
And LSU had just lost to Texas A&M when they were leading by 10 at halftime. So you have to get your happiness from somewhere.
That Hail Mary was phenomenal.
Oh my God.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate the phone call, buddy, and good luck to your Dolphins moving forward. I know LSU is struggling right now, but hopefully they can get a decent bowl game. Maybe it's close to us here in Florida, and you get to go. So, but we appreciate it. But we're going to get to one last game here. Then we're going to cover some high school news and notes, and then we'll get you all out of here to start your weekend.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, so Ravens at Chargers real quick. Ravens are a 3-point favorite on the road in L.A., back-to-back home games for SoFi Stadium, Sunday night and then Monday night, over-under at 50.5.
Jim has never beat John Harbaugh, so let's keep that tradition going. Give me the Ravens.
Okay, Ravens
Chargers.
all day. Going Chargers, going home team, sticking with that home team flavor. I think you hammer the over on this game. I think it's going to be electric. I think you're going to see it similar to what we had Sunday night, Bengals-Chargers. I think you're going to see a lot of offense from both sides of the ball. The Ravens can't stop the pass. Herbert cooked in the first half against the Bengals, not so much in the second half. The run game for Baltimore is outstanding, obviously. I think you're going to see a lot of points. So if you have any of these guys in your fantasy team, start them and just sit back and watch and enjoy because it's going to happen for you. But I think Ravens take this one on the road. Let's get to some high school notes here. So yesterday I'm at Target. Wife sent me out shopping. She said, hey, go pick this up, go pick that up. And I get an alert notification from X or Twitter, and it's our very own Panama City News Herald, Benji Bombadella. He tweets back at me or posts at me and says, check this out. And it was Locavian Jackson, Mosley High School, running back, defensive back. And he's in a Louisville Cardinal uniform in front of the stadium with all this stuff going on. He's taking an official visit to the University of Louisville on the 22nd of November. When I first saw it, I thought it was a commit, and I was like, let's go. That's awesome. We got a Mosley Dolphin going to the University of Louisville. I get to watch him for the next few years. But apparently it's just an official visit, but huge news for that dude. I don't want to say, again, Louisville is a premier program, but if you look at the talent that they've put on the field, and put into the NFL, I think you would say it's up there as one of the top programs.
They get nationalized. They're playing the Power Four.
So kudos to LoJack there. LoJack doing his thing, and hopefully he is a Louisville Cardinal. I'd love for that to happen.
Hopefully it wasn't snowing the day of his visit.
No, it's November 22nd, so it's not happened yet. It's coming up.
That's today. That's today.
Today.
So right now.
So, hopefully it's not snowing today.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. Yeah, you're right.
Pick me up a Louisville Slugger, LoJack.
Let's see here. Boys high school basketball, Bay High kicked off their season with a 60-46 win over Arnold. Oliver Pratt led the Tornadoes in scoring with 15, while Maddox Memon chipped in 9 points and 10 boards. Bozeman is 2-0 and will face Sneeds tonight at 5 p.m. David's right. It is very, very hard to try to find these scores and box scores and stuff because they don't always fill them out. So if I've neglected anything. It's not out of choice. It's just out of what it is.
Sure.
Mosley tips their season off against Childs tonight at 5 p.m. So if you get a chance, head on up there to Mosley and go root on the Dolphins on the basketball court. On the girls' side, Arnold is 1-1. They defeated Poplar Springs last night, 43-31. The Bay Girls will tip their season off Monday night at Bluntstown, getting a late start to their season. There's a lot of teams that have already played a couple games. And the Mosley girls face Rutherford tonight, seeking their first win of the young season. The Rams are 1-0 after taking down Freeport on Tuesday night. So high school basketball here in the Bay County area is tipping off, and make sure you guys get out there and check them out and root on our local kids, and maybe we can see them at the next level like we will LoJack know, next season. So definitely something to keep an eye on. It makes me wonder if LoJack plays basketball too. Like, what would that look like on the floor? Like, you remember when you see, football players that, like, who was the California, Antonio Gates. Remember Antonio Gates playing college basketball, and then Julius Peppers for North Carolina?
Yeah, he played a lot of basketball for UNC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun to see those kinds of things happen. Because you always think about, like, what does LeBron look like on the football field, right?
Yeah.
You play those games.
I remember that commercial where he put on a Cleveland Browns uniform and pretended to be a receiver. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, and so getting to see those guys do it and at such a high level, I think is pretty awesome. So, like I said, I would love to see LoJack play. If he does play basketball for Mosley, it'd be cool to go out there and see and root him on. But again, LoJack, go Cards, baby. Let's do it. But guys, make sure you stay tuned. Starting on Monday, what do we have on Monday? Do we have James Hill show? The schedule's in the air. Stay tuned. We're still working that out, but it is Thanksgiving week next week. So if we don't touch base with you guys, you all have a wonderful, happy, and safe Thanksgiving. We appreciate all of you all, and we love you, David. And for Chef Ross and Bone Crusher, I'm AG. We hope you all have a phenomenal, phenomenal weekend. Hopefully the weather holds out and you guys are be able to go out there and enjoy it. But we appreciate you all.
It's a lot of great college games to watch this weekend.
100%, 100%. And we are out.
All right.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and staff meteorologist Tim Root for up-to-the-minute weather reports all day long.
Moving northwestward into the Gulf of Mexico by the weekend.
In-depth storm coverage.
Gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, clear and a low of 45 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the north. Sunshine tomorrow morning, a light breeze and warm near 58. Clear and 65 in the afternoon and evening. 69 and sunshine with a very light wind Sunday. Monday, mostly sunshine and a temperature slightly warmer at 76. This is your Friday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $41.99 a month. Cut the cord, not the fun. To get Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the Lucid TV logo.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking it to the hole. your home for the most live college basketball on the Gulf Coast. The ACC, SEC, and the biggest games in the country. Plus the official station of March Madness.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
Hear every slam dunk in ultra-high fidelity right here.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Nothing like the SEC. The weekend's full of surprises. From Williams-Brice to Death Valley. On the Firebomb Show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get the best of me, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Yeah, call I've been howling like an underdog.
Our players know what we're capable of, and we got to have our best shot of the year.
They have played their best football against the best teams they've competed against.
I don't think I need to build up Texas. I mean, there's no weaknesses on this team.
NFL guys all over the place. I think this is the biggest game of the season.
Fight for each other, fearless, selfless, and relentless. Go make play. Games in November, the Jersey Roll.
To the end zone. Touchdown, Longhorns.
Can't hold me back. Hold me back. No. I've been howling like an underdog.
Our first trip to Austin for a football weekend, and this place is buzzing as the Texas Longhorns continue on. Kentucky tomorrow, next week. Everyone knows where the Longhorns are heading, and hopefully a lot more games after that as we say hello to you live from the University of Texas.